Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. I have my apron on today and we are doing a cook with me vlog. Follow along with me and see what I am making today for the weekend. If you're new here, my name is Tanya. Thank you for stopping by. I'm a mom of 3 kids, 5 and under. I love making all kinds of videos on my channel related to mom life and lifestyles like cooking and simple living. So if that's something you like, I hope you take the chance to subscribe. And so today, like I mentioned, I'm going to be showing you guys just kind of cooking with me today. I thought I would do a video like that instead of doing a whole day vlog, just kind of a cooking vlog, because I tend to, what I've been doing more is I like to try to make home cooked meals and cook, but I tend to kind of batch cook every couple of days. So I will make maybe like a lot of a meal, or bake some good so it'll last us for a few days instead of having to cook every single day. I can just reheat the food, basically leftovers, but I kind of do that and it tends to work better for us. So I thought I would show you what I have made. I made already dinner, and this is something I didn't show you the full detail video because it's something I have shared on my channel before. It's one of my favorite recipes, so I will just show you what I made, and then we are going to move on to be trying out a new recipe, as well as trying out to make my kombucha today, to set it and get it ready to go. Obviously it's not going to be ready, it has to ferment for a while. So let me show you what I made for dinner for the next couple days, and then we'll get into making the apricot bars. So for dinner I made, this is one of my favorites, I have mentioned this to you guys before. It is my zucchini and ground beef skillet meal. This is one I found on Meal Lime, the app, and it has become a staple. These are zucchinis that we had left over from my garden, and so I really wanted to use them up. And I always usually have ground beef on hand, so this is a really quick one that whenever I have zucchini I do. So there's that. And then I have a pot of rice that I made. It's just basmati rice with, I cooked it with some chicken broth so for flavor, and that's done. So that we will have for the next couple of days, and then I'm going to be making some apricot bars hopefully. So the way I oftentimes kind of decide what I'm baking for like a dessert or something, or just in general obviously for food, is seeing what I have that I need to really use up. So the 2 things I'm hoping to bake today, but for sure these, I wanted to use up these apricots. I have these in my fridge. They're from Costco. I decided to look up some recipes on Pinterest using dried apricots, and I found this recipe, so that's what I'm doing. So that's kind of my go-to thinking, is what do I have and what do I need to use up. So I'm going to be using these apricots, and then we have this organic, obviously not all this sugar, but some of this sugar. And so this is to make like the kind of like a jam, I guess, for the filling of these bars. And then obviously flour and salt and all those other ingredients to make the actual bars themselves. But I'm going to get this going on the stove and start making these. And then I probably also want to make, as you can see, again, I look around to see what I need to use up. We have some pretty ripe bananas that I want to make banana muffins, so hopefully I will get to that. Otherwise I can do it tomorrow as well. But that again is how, I try to use what I have and just use it up before it goes back, because I don't want to waste it. So let's get started on the apricots.
Hey, so the first thing I did was to cut up the apricots. I can't remember the exact measurements, if it was a cup or 2, but I will link the pin down below that I used where I found this recipe if you would like to try it out and recreate it. So I just cut up dry apricots. You could definitely, I'm pretty sure, use fresh, but again, I'm trying to use what I had, so I used the dry ones, just cut them up. And I think I had, like I said, I think about a cup, maybe 2. So I think I had 2 cups. And then you put them on the stove, and then you're just going to add sugar to them. I had my organic cane sugar that I used. I think you used about a cup of the sugar. I actually would add less in them if I made this recipe again, just because I feel like I don't like super sweet, and it was a little bit sweeter for me. I followed the recipe, but So then once you've added the water and sugar, just leave it on the stove for a while to boil. I would say about like half an hour, maybe even a little bit more, till it kind of breaks it down and it becomes basically like a chunky jam, and it becomes sweet, and then you'll be able to use it as like a paste for the middle of your bars. So these are the ingredients that I'm using for the like crumble or the crust. There's coconut, shredded coconut, flour, baking powder, and the sugar that I'm using, and butter. So good. It's similar to a pie crust in a way, but I like that it had shredded coconut. It's good flavor, and if you have it, it's a good way to use that up. I mixed up all the dry ingredients, and then I broke it up, the butter, so it's similar again to kind of like a pie crust, but I just used my hand. I didn't have one of those fancy like pastry butter breaker up things, so I just did that. It worked just fine. And then you smush it into your pan to make like a bottom for it, and just similar again to kind of like pies or graham cracker crust things. If you've ever made that before, just kind of smush it into the bottom to make the bottom layer for it. And then you're gonna take your jam, and it's gotten all, you know, kind of broken down and condensed, and you're gonna pour, but you can see it's still like chunky too. It has those apricots, and you're gonna put it into the middle, and that'll be your filling. And then basically you're gonna cover the top of that. And I love apricots. We had apricots growing up when I was in Ukraine. We had an apricot tree, and we used to just eat them off. It's so good. So definitely recommend this one. I would add a little less sugar though.
So I just wanted to share a tip with you guys. I'm now moving on to making the banana muffins, and it calls for brown sugar. And I'm someone that normally has like really bad luck with brown sugar, and I always dry it out. And I saw this tip online, and it has actually worked. I keep a like lemon or half a lemon, and I leave it in there, and look at this, you guys. This used to be totally stuck to the walls of this, and so I keep this in there, and it helps. Look at it. So fluffy and fat, and it's not all dry, and I'm like chiseling at it. So just a little tip for you guys. This does work if you have seen it.
Alright, so the next part I moved on to was making banana muffins. You guys, I realized I forgot to show you the end result of these. Vlogging fail, but I will try. These definitely turned out well. These are ones I have made for years, I think for like, since I've been married, so almost 8 years. This is the recipe I've used to make my banana muffins, so it's a trusted recipe. Trust me on it. I'm sorry, guys, I did not show the footage of the end results of the baked items, but they were good. So I just using these little silicone cups. I got these on Amazon. I like them because it's a more green alternative, and I like just, you can reuse them. Plus they're fun colors too. You can use them for baking, obviously, but even also for like condiments, like for if you're dipping ketchup or, you know, applesauce servings or whatever, you can just pour them in there. They are dishwasher safe, so multiple uses. And I'm just gonna scoop that in to my little cups. Again, I really like making more of muffins than bread, because I feel like my kids, it's a little easier. They can just grab a muffin rather than trying to, like, if they were trying to like cut off a piece or something or break off a piece off a loaf. It's just easier to have for servings. And again, you can even freeze these too. Ours just get eaten pretty fast, so at our house.
Hi everyone, so here's day 2 of the Cook With Me vlog. I was really tired yesterday after all the baking and all the other food I made, so I did not have time to move on to my kombucha, which I'm so excited about. Also a little nervous, but excited. But today is day 2, and I'm finally tackling kombucha. So I want to show you guys the process and see how it goes. This is my first ever batch, so we'll see. You know, it is what it is. It's a learning process, and we'll take it from there. But let me show you guys what I have, what I'm using, and let's get started.
Hey guys, so future Tanya here. Again, I decided to do a voiceover for this part because the audio was just not the greatest, and I just wanted to kind of do a condensed version. If you guys want to see another video of me actually doing this process now that I've done it and feel more comfortable, I definitely think I want to do a video of that. Let me know. So this is just me basically showing you the SCOBY that I got from one of my students at work. I was so excited that she gave it to me. And so I'm using, for this time that I made it for my first time, I used black loose leaf tea. I just put it in one of these little pouches, equivalent to about 4 bags. And then I used green tea as well. You can choose to obviously steep it if you have a fancy like tea maker thing too. That's the loose leaf tea I was using. And then I use a glass jar. And obviously when you're doing fermenting and things like that, it's just better to use glass. And so here I just use hot water. I did 4 cups to start with, because this is just for the brewing part. You're going to obviously use more than 4 cups of water, but I use, this is the green tea and the black tea. They recommend using just black tea because you have to be careful with green tea, can become bitter, but this did turn out well. I did more black tea than green tea, and it turned out fine for my first time. And then I used half a cup of sugar. Again, it depends how much tea you're going to be making. So after I steeped it, just took those out. I steeped it for about 10-15 minutes, and You want to pour this into the glass container. Now remember, do not put your SCOBY in at this time, because if you put it in when it's hot, you will kill your SCOBY, and we don't want to kill the SCOBY. So, but this is when you put your sugar in, because the hot water is, you know, obviously what helps like dissolve the sugar. So this is when you would put in the sugar, and your SCOBY needs sugar too. That's what it eats, and basically that's how it ferments and makes your kombucha. So it's the food for the SCOBY. So you want to mix it all up in there and melt it up. And again, do not put your SCOBY in at this time. So then I added in some like cold or like room temperature water. This is what kind of cools down and makes it safe, so that it's, you know, a safe temperature for the SCOBY. So I was so nervous for this part, because this is my first time. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to kill it. So I pour in I had like a little too much at the top, and you guys can see I spilled some out, but it was okay, it's fine. And the SCOBY just kind of floats in there. Like at first I was like, is that normal? What is it supposed to do? And it just kind of sits there. So it just does its thing and floats around in there. That's what it looked like. So then I covered it with a breathable. You want to make sure it's still breathable. You don't want to use a lid. And that's basically what I did. And it ended up actually turning out really good.
So there you have it, guys. That's the process. We will check in. I'm going to put this in like a little closet part, I think, of my kitchen, a little storage where there's not direct light. So it's still breathing. It's still doing its thing. And we'll see how it goes in about 10 to 12 days. So if you are a kombucha brewer and you are like, oh no, Tanya, that was totally wrong, just give me some kind feedback in the comments down below so I can, but again, for my first time, I'm pretty excited. I think it went well. So we will see how it goes. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this Cook With Me vlog. I hope it gave you some motivation and some, I don't know, encouragement to try out things in your kitchen. And thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.